This is the most like slowest stream ever, bro. Why is I'm about to get mad, bro, cause like we just everything y'all like making everything difficult. We making everything difficult.
You won't believe what happened to IShowSpeed in Egypt. One moment, history in the Great Pyramids of Giza. The next, pure chaos. Policies, restrictions, cameras shut down. A drone operator quits live. The VOD deleted.
Making everything difficult. We making everything difficult.
Speed says, "This is the worst IRL stream I have ever done."
Why is I'm about to get mad, bro, cause like we just everything y'all like making everything difficult.
But that is not all, because just days earlier, Africa gave him a completely different story. Kenya went crazy, record-breaking crowds, 48 million subscribers unlocked, rhinos, cheetahs, lions, pure love, pure freedom. So, how did one country crown him a king while others pushed him to his breaking point?
Because like with filming here, like you have to like basically get a permit for pretty much everything, if that makes sense.
Tears, frustration, history made, and arrest. What really happened in Cairo? Why did IShowSpeed turn on Egypt and crown Kenya #1?
How was Kenya, bro? So y'all asked me how was Kenya, but Kenya was one of the best streams.
Stay till the end because the truth behind this tour is more shocking than anyone expected. Now, let's talk about what happened to Speed when he landed in Egypt on January 15th of 2026. The contrast was immediate, brutal, undeniable. When Kenya opened its arms, Egypt raised its barriers. When Nairobi offered freedom, Cairo imposed chains. And Speed, he couldn't hide his frustration. The footage speaks for itself. Speed sitting in a car with his head sticking out of the sunroof, looking visibly deflated as the vehicle moves through Cairo traffic. Gone is the smile, gone is the energy. Instead, there is exhaustion, frustration, a man trying to maintain positivity while everything around him crumbles down. Chat, if you understood, I don't want to say too much, but it's really hard to stream here, Speed told his viewers, his voice heavy with resignation. Streaming here basically, you have to get permits for pretty much everything and every place.
Like with filming here, like you have to like basically get a permit for pretty much everything.
There are a lot of restrictions over here. I don't know if you all realize that. He tried to clarify to distinguish between rules and restrictions, regulations and laws, but ultimately admitted they all created the same result. Content that felt lifeless, controlled and sanitized. Rule, regulation, restriction, laws. He listed the frustration seeping through every word. This wasn't IShowSpeed being dramatic. This was reality crashing into expectation. Egypt's Supreme Council for Media Regulation requires all digital platforms to comply with strict content standards. The regulatory environment demands permit for filming at nearly every location. High-powered camera equipment, restricted, drones, heavily regulated, requiring special clearances. And that is when things fell apart in spectacular fashion. Midstream, interacting with fans, his bodyguard delivered devastating news. The drone operator had quit.
What, G? He quit? Why'd he quit? Did he leave the backpack? The drone guy quit.
Not at the end of the day, not after finishing the job, right there, mid-broadcasts. He quit? Why did he quit? Did he leave the backpack with the gadgets? Do we have the drone shot? What do you mean he quit? What pressure is there? You all cannot be doing that to me. The backpack with the drone gear was left behind, but the operator was gone. A team member explained, "He cannot handle the pressure, bro." He kept disappearing and finally just walked out. Think about what this means. Speed's crew, professionals who have handled massive crowds, intense situations, and high-pressure environments across multiple continents, were breaking under Egypt's restriction. The regulatory burden wasn't just inconvenient, it was crushing. IShowSpeed later revealed something that shocked everyone. Chat, this stream in Egypt was the most expensive ever. You guys don't know it. I usually do a lot for you, so you can see things. I want to make everything right and everything great, and that is why I have to do everything right.
Chat, this stream is the most expensive stream ever. I do a lot for y'all, chat. I want to make everything right.
The most expensive stream, not because of lavish spending, because of regulatory compliance, every permit, every approval, every bureaucratic hurdle, added cost, time and stress.
It's okay, I know.
It's not flash.
I know,
So
it's not a
flash
flash because the flash is not allowed.
Yeah.
Okay?
Flash
Because
damages the
yeah,
antiquities,
on the
but no
artifacts,
flash.
we have a painting on the colors or something like that. Okay?
But that is not all that happened in Egypt, and what comes next is even more shocking. Yes, Speed made history. He became the first streamer ever to broadcast live from inside the Great Pyramids of Giza, walking through winding passageways, exploring vast chambers with an archaeologist as his guide, showing 3.5 million views, a perspective they'd never seen before. This is insane. He rode a camel while waving an Egyptian flag. But here is the brutal truth. None of that mattered because the creative freedom that made Kenya magical was suffocated in Egypt. Even worse, the streams felt sanitized. In Kenya, Speed could spontaneously decide to visit a market, jump in a matatu, or race to a school. In Egypt, every move required planning, permits, approvals. The spontaneity that make IRL streaming compelling gone. Then came the VOD controversy. After the Cairo stream ended, Speed discovered that one of the Egyptian artists whose music played during a bot segment had copyright claimed the entire broadcast, attempting to seize all the ad revenue. The artist did not realize that YouTube allows creators to remove or replace copyrighted sections. Speed removed the claimed audio, replaced it with a copyright-free music, and re-uploaded it. The result, the final minutes of the Cairo VOD, now features random stock music with Speed's original audio muted, a fitting metaphor for the entire Egypt experience, controlled, altered, stripped of its original voice. Some reports suggest the VOD was initially deleted entirely due to the disappointing experience and safety concerns from fan snipping, though it was later re-uploaded with modification. Speed's team was exhausted. His head of production Slips sustained a bad nerve and disc injury during the tour. The pressure was mounting, the joy was draining, and Speed's frustration was reaching a breaking point. Fast forward to January 16th of 2026, the Sahara Desert. Speed is streaming from Algeria, sun stretching endlessly in every direction. Finally, he speaks his truth. A viewer in the chats asks how Kenya was. Speed's response is immediate. Kenya was one of the best streams. The reception from fans was amazing. Then someone asks about Egypt. The contrast in his tone is dark.
Tekken was one of the best streams.
Where Kenya got enthusiasm and gratitude, Egypt got measured words and barely concealed disappointment. Streaming in Egypt is hard because of filming rules, he admitted again. This time, with the clarity of hindsight, maybe the worst stream of the tour so far. Out of 20 countries, spanning Angola to Algeria, Kenya to Zimbabwe, Egypt earned the distinction of being the worst, not because of the landmarks, not because of the history, because of the restrictions that turned what should have been an extraordinary experience into a bureaucratic nightmare. Speed didn't mince words. There are too many policies and restrictions. Almost every activity required specific government approval. So where does this leave us now? Speed continues his African tour, currently in the Sahara Desert, moving towards additional countries. Kenya remains his declared number one. Egypt remains a cautionary tale. But the larger question is this: will other African nations learn from this comparison? Will Ghana, Nigeria, Senegal and Morocco, Speed's upcoming destination, follow Kenya's model or Egypt's? Will they see creators as partners in authentic storytelling or as liabilities to manage? The choice will determine not just how Speed's tour unfolds, but how the entire continent positions itself in the global creator economy. Because here is the reality. Speed has nearly 50 million subscribers. When he declares a country number 1, when he says Kenya, I will never forget you, when he shows genuine love and excitement, millions of people worldwide take notice. That is power, that is influence, and that is the kind of organic marketing that money literally cannot buy. Kenya recognized it, embraced it, and reaped the rewards. Egypt had the same opportunity and squandered it through overregulation. The lesson is clear. In the creator economy, freedom and facilitation beat control and restriction, authenticity beats sanitization, and trust beats micromanagement. So there you have it, the complete story of how Kenya became Speed's number 1 African destination, while Egypt became his most disappointing. 360,000 subscribers versus deleted VODs, presidential welcomes versus crew resignations, creative freedom versus regulatory nightmares. The evidence is overwhelming, the contrast is undeniable, and the implications reach far beyond one streamer's experience. If you found this breakdown valuable, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment telling me which African country you think Speed should prioritize next. Will they follow the Kenyan models or repeat Egypt's mistakes? The tour continues, the world is watching, and the creator economy being how we think about travel, culture, and authentic storytelling has been the complete breakdown of IShowSpeed's African tour chaos. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep watching how this incredible story will unfold.